Hello, welcome to CLSB Politics. Sean Briscoe speaking. Trump versus the Federalist Society. Apparently, they're having a bit of a problem. You see, Trump really kind of wants them to basically do what he says. And by them, I mean the judges that the Federalist Society picked. There apparently, a few of them actually did go to law school and they did read the Constitution, and Trump can't just get his own way. So, for those of you that don't really know who the Federalist Society is, they've come up quite a few times in many of my channel, episodes. They were key in the development of Project 2025, of which I have a 15 video series on. So that's them. They also create lists for judges, both Supreme Court and further down. And if those of you remember from Trump's first administration, him and Mitch McConnell put together a ton of judicial seats. Remember, because Mitch McConnell blocked a bunch of Obama's seats, including Supreme Court justice seats. Well, he wasn't just blocking those seats, he was blocking all federal judges, making it very difficult to move things forward for Obama, any of the progressives or Democrats or of any kind. So this Federalist Society is really a bunch of people who would love to keep the poor right where they are, quiet, subservient, working their menial jobs till they would hopefully die before collecting Social Security. They're utilitarians, they're libertarians, and I'm going to tell you, the argument for libertarianism stops on the road they drove to get to the place to have the argument. Because without the roads, they ain't coming for the argument. Hence the reason it's so stupid. You gotta have, you do not live on your own at the top of a mountain. If you want to do that, you can go to Tibet. But here, no, we all live together. You went to the grocery store. All of the people there went to public school. That's paid for by taxes. The bus drivers, the truck drivers, the people who make the roads, all of this stuff. It's all of us. Those libertarians are, well, anyway, that's where these guys are from, right? That's their background. They've been part of just about every conservative BS budget that's ever come through Congress. They represent the ideas that have literally created the vast majority of the deficits and debt this country has came from their tax policies, which, by the way, tax all the poor people to death and make sure the rich people don't have to pay any taxes. That's their job. That's their goal. They also set up a lot of judicials. That's kind of where these guys are. And this is a simplified version. They're way worse than I'm making them sound. But trust me, they're the ones who orchestrated the overturning of Roe. They're the ones that orchestrated the first big tax cut when Reagan was president. And when they did that big thing in 82, they've done the Bush tax cuts. They've done the Trump tax cuts. These guys, and you're like, oh, tax cuts are great. Yeah, they're real good for the wealthy. Now, if they capped anyone that made over 100,000 wouldn't get those tax cuts, then I think I'd be game on for that. But that's not what they do. They specifically give the guys at the top way more. They make more in cuts in taxes than you'll make in a year. It's insane. So that's who the Federalist Society is. Really, they're the bad guys. They are the worst of the worst. But apparently, they're not bad enough for Trump because he wants to just run roughshod right over the Constitution. We're seeing that in LA right now with the Insurrection Act. By the way, that's episode 14 on my Project 2025. I think about halfway in, I outlined these are probably the ways he's going to use the Insurrection Act. It's literally what he's doing right now. It's almost verbatim. I rewatched my video and I was like, ooh, it's been a minute. I'm much better at them now than I was then. But wow, really nailed it. In fact, I'm going to go do another video on the Insurrection Act talking about the connection with Project 2025 in real time. But the Federalist Society are the ones who helped write that nonsense and want you to They want their people to live in bunkers armed to the teeth, and they want the rest of us to die in the Holocaust. I mean, it's just they're terrible. They don't believe in global warming. They don't believe in anything. So the love spat is Trump wants to be able to do whatever he wants. He wants to be king. He wants to be a monarch. He wants to be able to make the rules and then make us all abide by them. Only rules I consider are the Bill of Rights and the Constitution, and I make sure I do my best to protect those things as best I can. Again, as many people elected to office that stand opposite of that orange moron. So that's my job. But his problem is, as conservative as the courts are, they're not conservative enough for Trump. Not that Trump's a conservative. He's really not. He's just an oligarch who wants to rule. He's more of a monarch. We already kicked one of those out of our country a while back. So I'm feeling like he's probably going to have that problem again. So my thoughts on this are clear. It's the Federalist Society is as evil as it gets. Yet Trump is somehow managed to be worse than them. And I just never thought ever that I would. I mean, you've got to reach back into, some pretty rough times in order to find any group worse than the Federalist Society in this country as far as policy, platforming, and governance goes. And it's still not bad enough for Trump. So I'm kind of happy these judges are actually like, no, habeas corpus is a thing. No, you really can't just throw Americans out of America for no reason. Maybe there is a process that should be followed. I mean, they are literally the bar minimum, and that bar minimum is too high for Trump. And that's why they're so upset. So thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. I'm going to be kind of doing a lot of reference material in the future based on all of the different policies that they're actually implementing from Project 2025 right now. So stay tuned for that. If you'd like to support this channel, I have a PayPal. I'm not monetized by YouTube, so please go to my PayPal at CLSP Politics. All right. Hope everyone had a great day.